Albert Beckles, a legendary figure in the world of bodybuilding, is a man whose career is marked by longevity, resilience, and an enduring passion for the sport. With a career spanning over 3 decades, Beckles competed at the highest levels well into his 50s, earning accolades not only for his impressive physique but also for his ability to defy age-related decline. His story is one of overcoming challenges, continually evolving, and remaining relevant in a sport that constantly changes. Early life and beginnings. Albert Al Beckles was born on July 14, 1930, in Barbados, a small island in the Caribbean. Like many individuals from humble beginnings, Beckles did not have an easy path. Growing up in a time when opportunities for individuals of color were limited, especially in the world of sports, Beckles faced his share of challenges early in life. Despite this, his athleticism and dedication were apparent from a young age. Beckles' early life in Barbados was marked by a love for physical activity, which led him to develop a strong, athletic physique even before discovering bodybuilding. In his youth, he participated in various sports, but it wasn't until he emigrated to London, England, in the early 1960s that he became involved in bodybuilding. His move to England proved to be a turning point, as it introduced him to the burgeoning bodybuilding scene in Europe. Introduction to bodybuilding. In London, Beckles began to take his training seriously, frequenting local gyms and learning the craft of sculpting his body. He was inspired by the bodybuilders of the era, such as Steve Reeves and Reg Park, but it was his natural genetics and intense work ethic that set him apart. He possessed an incredibly symmetrical physique, marked by a small waist, broad shoulders, and well-defined muscle groups. Beckles' first bodybuilding competition came in the early 1960s, where he placed respectably but did not win. Undeterred, he continued to refine his physique and technique, learning more about diet, training, and posing. As the years went on, Beckles started to make a name for himself in the British bodybuilding scene. Rise to fame. Albert Beckles' rise to international prominence came in the 1970s when he began competing on the global stage. The 1970s were a golden era for bodybuilding, with the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sergio Oliva dominating the scene. Beckles, though not as immediately famous as these icons, was steadily building a reputation as one of the most consistent and well-conditioned competitors in the sport. In 1970, Beckles won his first major international title, the NABBA Mr. Britain. This victory solidified his status as one of the top bodybuilders in the world, and from there, his career began to take off. He followed this up with a win at the NABBA Mr. Universe in 1971, a prestigious title that had been held by legends such as Schwarzenegger and Reeves. Throughout the 1970s, Beckles continued to compete and win titles, including several NABBA Mr. Universe championships. His physique, characterized by sharp definition and impressive symmetry, was admired by both fans and judges alike. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Beckles was not known for mass but for his balanced and aesthetically pleasing physique. His well-developed arms, in particular, became one of his standout features, with many in the bodybuilding community considering his biceps some of the best ever seen in the sport. Professional career and competing in the IFBB. In 1976, Albert Beckles made the transition from the amateur ranks to the professional stage, joining the International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness, IFBB. The IFBB was the premier bodybuilding organization, and competing in its ranks placed Beckles among the elite of the sport. His professional debut came at the 1976 IFBB Mr. Universe, where he placed second. This was a strong showing for his first major pro competition, but Beckles was far from finished. He spent the next several years competing in various IFBB competitions, steadily climbing the ranks. By the early 1980s, Beckles was regularly competing in the Mr. Olympia competition, the most prestigious title in bodybuilding. The Mr. Olympia stage was incredibly competitive during this era, with bodybuilders such as Frank Zane, Franco Columbu, and Lee Haney dominating the field. Despite this, Beckles continued to perform at a high level, often placing in the top 5.